Good morning, welcome to the 350th podcast of Andy Collier-talks cricket memorabilia. 350, unbelievable. So anyways, you might have noticed in the week we played Andy Addycoat's final podcast over there in Australia. So that was the last of the Australian podcast. So I'd just like to thank everybody over there who did the podcast with me. So we got Kevin and Andy especially, Craig Hawkins, who else have we got? Pete Scully, Steve Fleming, Kevin Cannon, Jenny, John O'Sullivan, James Merchant, Peter Lloyd, all sorts of people over there. So if I've missed anybody out, I do apologise, but it was a fantastic trip and thanks for all the podcasts that we managed to do. So anyway, onwards and upwards. Yesterday was a CMS meeting at Leicester, which went very well, I have to say. Peter, Paul Smith and Ricky Alcock were great guests, I have to say. With a nice meal and what have you. So it's a pretty full house there with the auction and everything going on. So come away with the normal bits and pieces. Didn't come away with any auction bits. So we've got a nice one there. Paul Smith there. Doesn't quite look like that today, I have to say. But there we are. Ricky Alcock there. What number is he? 151 and Paul Smith's 150. And I won in the raffle a couple of other signed photographs there of those two. I'd just like to thank Ian for passing on that for me yesterday. I'm actually in that one, believe it or not, with the club and ground. So I don't suppose you knew that, but I'm in that little book there, so it's quite nice to reminisce that one last night, I have to say. So anyway, on to, since we've got the 350th, we're going to be going back on a few bits and pieces we've done over the last few months. I hope you don't mind that, but it might be a bit repetitive, but just nice to sort of mark the occasion. But before I start, look, there's a jumper here for Simon. It's Ben Hollyoaks test jumper there. So it's a nice jump there. I know he's keen on getting one. I know he had the England A blazer, so that one's sitting here at the moment. So well, nicely in my drawer. Anyway, so I'm done a few bits that turned up this year. So a couple of nice signature sheets. Surrey ones. This one we've got Percy Fender 1931. This one, that's a nice signature sheet there. We've actually got Northants on the back of it, which on the back of there, 1931 again. So that's a nice Surrey one there. Another nice Surrey one here with we got 1912 MC Bird, the skipper, Haywood, Strudwick, Rushby, Duckett, Harrison, Spring, Smith, Abel, Goatley and Ernie Hayes at the bottom there. So that's a nice set that arrived this year. Another nice one here from Australia, as you might have gathered a few weeks ago. It's a lovely, what are we, Wireless Weekly photograph there of Don Bradman. Rather nice, 1936 that is. Thanks very much for confirming that. Once we've got it, another nice thing that arrived this year was this lovely signed 1926. We've got a Tranto, bought the 1926 Australian side over. Carried the Australian team from Australia via Colombo and on to Naples. Then they came across Europe various ways. Well, that was a nice one there. These ones were just a couple of weeks ago I showed these. So there's a nice Surrey team there and a cabinet card 1877. Which is a rather pleasant card, and the two nice carte de visite there. They're stuck together. Who have we got? Campbell and Tufnell. So two nice, one match for Surrey, these two. So lovely signed ones, cards there. Nice cabinet card there of VFS Crawford, very fast scoring Crawford in his army uniform there. In where was he? He was in Cyprus, so a nice card there. And then earlier on in the year we had the lovely invitation there from Lord Sheffield, the Earl and Countess Delaware at Bexhill-on-Sea. That's a lovely invitation there to their big match there, and there's that went with the signed card of Delaware there. So I'm quite pleased to get hold of that invitation. That was 1896. That's the year that Delaware got the team up to beat the Australians. So that was a good one. So a couple of lovely photographs here. One of Herbert Strudwick there. This is from 1911-12 Tour Australia, taken by Humphrey and Co. in Melbourne. So that's a nice one there. That's from the SF Barnes collection. Really pleased to get hold of those, or that one. And also the one along with that was Bill Hitch, a lovely one there. Bill Hitch, nicely signed. So very pleased to get hold of those, and especially with the connection to SF Barnes. And then another one here, which was a later purchase, was A.O. Jones. There, Nottinghamshire man. So that's a nice cabinet card there of A.O. Jones. Just going off the track a little bit with the collecting front. We got halfway through the year, which is another little bit of a passion of mine, was this lovely card here, watercolour, pencil sketch and watercolour of Malcolm Campbell, signed by Malcolm Campbell, 1935, for his record speed of 301 mile an hour, or 0.128. I expect that's important. September 1935. So very pleased to get hold of that, and thanks Alan for getting me that. So that was great. Another lovely thing from Melbourne trip was this lovely sort of Art Deco period poster, A4 size, of Melbourne Cricket Ground. Very pleased to get hold of that, I have to say. There weren't very many of those left, so pleased to have that. And another couple of nice photographs here of May Moore photographs. We know May Moore from this one's Sydney. She's in Sydney. This is Johnny Douglas facing that way, and then we've also got the Johnny Douglas facing the other way. So quite pleased to get hold of that there. Those two, I haven't yet put them in the frame with the signature. So that's just a nice one there of Johnny Douglas. Very nice too. And another present there from Craig Hawkins in Australia. It's a lovely baggy green cap from SCG, 5th Test match of the series, Australia v England. So that's a nice addition. And of course the latest addition was this lovely photograph album, which is probably one of the purchases of the year. So we were getting through that. I think we've got 15 signatures in it now, so there's a few there. We also had a bit of a conflab in the week because we had a different photograph of Surrey in there, but also Dean Park is near down at Bournemouth, and that one of Surrey there was a bit of a mystery, and I think that's down there as well because it's after 22, because Sandham's got his West Indies blazer on there. Not his West Indies one, his Australian blazer. So nice, lovely photograph album that, with some nice photographs in there of pretty relevant players. And then we're going to come on to some books, a couple of books here. Went down to Sussex and met Megan Ponsford, and she kindly signed, she's the granddaughter of Bill Ponsford, so she nicely signed her 1935-36 book for me, which is called The Has-Beens and Never Will Be's, because there was a few old ones in there and a couple of youngsters, but a pretty unsuccessful tour really, with a lot of illness and whatever. And then that photograph came along with it, which is a photograph of the whole lot. Not sure what, probably the test match team there, unofficial test of course, of the tour, 1935-36. And then we had another lovely book there from Pete Lloyd come through this year, a few weeks ago, Blue Caps to New Zealand tour of 1923-24. So that's a nice addition there on the book front. So that's about it for sort of reminiscence I can remember this year. So well, I hope you've enjoyed it, and thanks for supporting me over the last 350 podcasts, and I hope we get another 350 to come. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. Cheers.